when you're moving from place to place, place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to Tobago Updates on the Tobago. Good morning and welcome to Tobago Updates. This is Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates morning show. You're viewing us here live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. My name is Dwayne Nurse, your favorite youth host. And yes, we are smack center in the middle of the week to bring you that youthful vigor. Yes, coming off the cusp of Tobago's Carnival. I heard it was much of a success. I hope those of you who would have visited the island would have enjoyed all that we had to offer during this period. I heard no reports of any major or severe accidents, and that is much to be grateful for. My name is Dwayne, so for those of you who are just joining us, and I am joined with
Natalia Nances. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our varying viewers on our varying platforms. That's Facebook, YouTube, and 102 on Amplia. I'm here to join Dwayne in your youthful vibe and vigor to take you through the rest of the week. I think, Dwayne, we can't say that it's us that help them through the rest of the week. You know, of course, right? We have that energy to continue on, right? And we are happy to be with you here this morning. All right. So, Dwayne, what is happening in this space?
We have a lot to talk about what is happening in this space.
Yes.
But we want to go straight over to you for news in 90 seconds. What is still coming up?
Here is your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, 30th October 2024. Police officers were praised by Police Commissioner Earl Haywood Christopher for their outstanding efforts in ensuring the safety and success of the 2024 Tobago Carnival, which drew over 88,000 participants. In a media release, she praised the professionalism, teamwork, and leadership of the DCP Suzette Martin, along with ACPs Collis Hazel, Oswayne Subero, and the Senior Superintendent Earl Eli. Haywood Christopher thanked officers for ensuring a safe environment for residents and visitors and acknowledged the support from Trinidad divisions, emphasizing the TTPS's commitment to public safety. Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tasha Boris, announced plans to launch the Antiquities component of her division by the first quarter of 2025. Boris said the division is currently reprioritizing projects for the fiscal year, focusing on culture and establishing the Antiquities Department. She noted challenges in finding specialized talent and securing legal expertise for robust policy development have delayed the progress. The division aims to ensure proper frameworks for managing antiquities involving government, civil society, and NGOs. Additionally, public consultations on the Store Bay redevelopment project are set to occur within the next 2 weeks. This was announced by Secretary of Tourism, Culture and Antiquities and Transportation, Tasha Boris. This decision follows concerns over the project's transparency. Boris reassured the public that no final plan has been approved and highlighted the importance of collaborating with stakeholders within Crown Point, Canaan and Bonaccord. The division remains committed to completing both phases of the project by 2025, but will continue refining the designs through ongoing consultations to ensure community support and prevent unwelcome changes. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Nances. Thank you very much for news in 90 seconds. We have our birthdays today, as per usual. First on our list, we have the Mr. Darian Mitchell. Happy birthday goes out to you from the Tobago Updates team and from here from us on Youth Wednesdays. Who do we have next?
We have Miss Trisha Simon. A happy birthday to you from the Tobago Updates family, especially the Youth Wednesdays family. I hope you have a vigorous and vibrant birthday. As we normally bring that energy, I hope you have that energy today.
And finally, we have Miss or Mrs. Malika Andrews. Happy birthday goes out to you from here from us on Youth Wednesdays. And of course, Those of you who did not make it on our birthday list this morning, we want to wish you a happy birthday as we usher in the new season of November, what many would call the Scorpio season. And I hope you guys have a blessed day ahead. Yeah. So before we go to our rundown, I think it might be remiss of us if we don't shout out some of our ardent viewers.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I want to send a special shout out to those who continuously join us on mornings. We first want to shout you out. I'll have a special shout out for my supervisor at work who always says that she's looking at me before she gets to work on a morning. Shout out to Ms. Latoya Marcel Wallace and some of the other folks in my department. A big shout out to you this morning.
All right, and special shout out goes out to Miss Biana. Happy birthday. Thank you very much for giving us here at Youth Wednesdays the unwavering support over the years.
Yes.
Over the years.
Yes, over the years.
Yeah, for a millennia. But anyway, we plan to be here for a millennia. And those of you who are not showing up on our live this morning, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for always sharing the live.
Yes.
Carnival, right? Before we go down to the rundown quickly, Carnival, I have seen a great improvement in the visuals.
Yes.
I don't know, one or two complaints about its marketing. It's early marketing, it's on time marketing. But I've seen the support. I've seen people really enjoy themselves. Bands being 100% close to 100% sold out. I want to say it has done well for the island.
Did you make it in on the weekend or how was your weekend, Dwayne?
What do you mean?
Well, you're giving me some updates on Carnival.
Right.
So
I saw it. I just saw it.
You observed
I was in
from
another
a
place,
standpoint.
at another space, at another time.
Yes.
Observing. Right.
All right. But in terms of the marketing, Mr. Sandy said we look forward to improvements next year, right? So even though the marketing could have been a bit better this year, we can look forward to better marketing next year.
Certainly.
Yes.
So guys, we want to give you the rundown this morning. And first on our list, we're going to be dealing with stroke in commemoration with the celebration of International Stroke Day that occurred on yesterday. And first, we have Miss Nancy Sanai discussing with Dr. Janiki Frank
Edobo.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for massacring your beautiful name. She's a specialist in internal medicine. She's a doctor by profession. She'll be coming to talk to us about stroke and how we're going to deal with that.
Yes.
And who do we have next?
And then we see the stroke victim from the stroke victim's perspective.
Yes.
We'll be joined with Mr. Nigel Duke. He is a recovered stroke patient. He's going to take us through what his process was like, after having a stroke and these type of things. Yeah. And then we have
the renowned physiotherapist, Mr. Ronald Wood.
Ruston Wood. We have Ronald with us here, but Ruston will be joining us.
Sometimes there's the twins.
Yeah. They're
twins
very close.
Yes.
Lookalikes there. So that was our mistake. Woods is smiling because he knows it's the truth. Yes. So we'll be joined by Mr. Ruston Wood, physiotherapist.
Yes.
He will be taking us through stroke recovery exercises. So we have different perspectives coming to us this morning in terms of stroke. As you know, Dwayne, yesterday was Stroke Awareness Day.
Yes.
And we want to highlight this condition that many people may be facing. Many doctors may have to be introduced to when they get into it. And then we have the physiotherapist that helps you through the stroke recovery processes, right? So we'll be going through all of that this morning. But before we get into our very exciting show, we have some congratulations going out to Mr. Daniel Wilson. Now, Daniel has graced our screen several times. He is smiling. I know what that smile is about, and that is based on your completion of your degree, your law degree, and we want to say congratulations to you, Daniel. How are you feeling? What are you feeling in this moment?
And before he even says something, we must let Tobago know that he graduated with first class honors. Now, to do a LLB is no easy feat, and to attain first class honors in your LLB program is quite a laudable feat.
And he did this while being president of TTSA and giving them awards, because I know you were here earlier to speak about what TTSA would have won during that time. You did a lot while doing this degree and you still came out with first class honors. Congratulations to you, Daniel.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Firstly, let me say good morning to Tobago, good morning to Trinidad and Tobago. Shub Diwali, we have Diwali coming up to the Hindu community in Trinidad and Tobago. Being a graduate of the University of the West Indies is really a special moment for me. I would have put in a lot of work and it's really a proud moment. I want to encourage all young persons to really put themselves out there to get up and get out, even if it's not in the traditional educational sphere, whether it be a trade, whether it be cosmetology, anything that you're interested in, pursue it head on, pursue it with full force, and the reward will always be great. This would always come with its own challenges, its own difficulties, but ensure to have trust in God, ensure to be self-motivated and be dedicated, and you could achieve all your wildest dreams. So that's just what I want to leave with Tobago youth population, Trinidad and Tobago youth population, as they go forward and pursue their dreams.
All right. Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you for taking the time out to join us. And once again, congratulations to you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. That was Mr. Daniel, graduate of the University of the West Indies, first class honors, if you please, in completing his LLB. And for those of you who are endeavoring for same, just go with God and all the best. But guys, this brings us to the end of this first segment, and we usher in our interviews for this morning. And we have to tell you guys to
share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Tobago Carnival is just around the corner, and Bethel Credit Union has you covered. Whether you're prepping for costumes, parties, giveaways, or a staycation, it's all within your reach with our Carnival loan sale. For as little as $900 a month, yes, $900 a month, you can get the funds you need to make this Carnival season unforgettable. At Bethel Credit Union, we're here to make your celebration dreams a reality. Visit us today or call 639-8226 for more information. Normal lending criteria applies, because we see you at BCU.
UAPs and standard listen. The TGIS sale is back, up to 75% off store-wide. Washers from $1,249. Stoves from $1,299. Fridges from $1,999. Patio set from $1,999. And up to 35% off Samsung and LG TVs. Plus a daily magic hour with even more savings. Follow standards on social media for the inside scoop. October 25th to the 30th only.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
And we are back here on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. Dwayne and I, we promised you a vigorous and a vibrant interview session here this morning, and we are happy to introduce you to our first segment with Dr. Janike Frank Edobor. Good morning to you, Doctor.
Good morning. Such a pleasure to be here today.
Good morning, good morning. Right, so as promised, based on what yesterday's theme of stroke awareness was, we are here to speak with Dr. Edobor about what a stroke is for those of you who may not know. What are the signs and symptoms we can look for, and etc., etc. Right? So, Dr. Edobor, what is a stroke? What is defined as a stroke?
Okay. So every organ in your body needs oxygen to survive. So a stroke occurs when there's a cutoff of the blood flow to the brain, leading to the death of cells in the brain. So there are different ways that can happen. So one way is that a blood clot forms in the vessel, and that prevents blood from getting to the brain. And another way is where the vessel itself bursts, and that's the bleeding in the brain that we talk about, and that is a hemorrhagic stroke.
Okay, and who can suffer from a stroke? Are strokes partial to a certain age group, or can anyone suffer from a stroke?
So adults over the age of 25, 1 in 4 adults in their lifetime will have a stroke. It's more common in persons over the age of 55 as well. And there are other reasons for persons to have strokes. So there are many risk factors, some of which we can solve and some of which we can't. We just have to manage, such as your age and being female. So,
all right.
What we do? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. So I, in my short stint of being a Tobagonian, I've only been here just a short while. I have noticed that Tobagonians seem to have an uptick in the stroke patients. Is there any merit to that observation, and what can you say can account for this this prevailing factor, relative to this discussion?
Mm-hmm. So definitely there has been a significant uptake in stroke. In the hospital, we manage between 20 to 30 stroke patients a month. Wow. When I was a junior doctor, it was in the teens, right? So we have more than doubled that number. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is usually all lifestyle changes, lifestyle choices. So starting with the foods we eat, high salt foods, fatty foods, foods high in sugar, smoking 1 pack of cigarette per day increases your risk of having a stroke by 6 times. And what about alcohol? Alcohol consumption, excessive alcohol consumption. And then there are the lifestyle diseases that we know that you always hear us talking about, comorbidities. So high blood pressure, which is the leading cause of having a stroke. Right. That's rampant on our island. And because there's no symptoms, people don't know they have high blood pressure. You actually have to have your blood pressure checked. Diabetes, high cholesterol, obesity. These are the factors that are causing the increase in the uptake or in the incidence of stroke on the island and worldwide.
All right. And you mentioned earlier that, a stroke is essentially is the lack of oxygen to a specific organ, namely the brain. Does strokes only happen in the brain? And if not, where else in the body can a stroke occur?
So the stroke that we are talking about today has to do with the central nervous system, particularly the brain. So the brain and the brain stem, those are the strokes that we are talking about. We can have stroke as it occurs to our spinal cord, but as a different entity. And then we have other nomenclature that we use, like heat stroke. That is a whole different ball game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what are the signs and symptoms of a stroke? Okay, God forbid, how do I know that I'm getting a stroke?
Remember the acronym FAST. FAST, right? Because time loss is brain lost. So FAST usually have weakness to one side of the face. So the face will be drooping or twisted to one side. A is for arm, so arm weakness. A lot of persons have like a cup drop out of their hands, or they realize they can't pick up a pen, etc. And then speech, the slurred speech, or the inability to get the words out, or speaking in confused sentences, and time. Now, I can't stress the importance of time, as in get to the hospital as soon as possible. The majority of persons, especially in Tobago, they watch it. They watch it. They will tell you that they're watching the symptoms. You need to get there early so that we can actually treat the stroke. And we have a narrow window with which we can actually treat. And I'm talking about ischemic strokes, the clots. It's only 3.5 to 4.5 hours. That is all that we have for you to reach, get assessed, get the image, get the report, and get treatment, right? So get there early. But there are other symptoms. So loss of coordination, loss of vision, headaches, confusion, loss of consciousness, seizures, and it could even get numbness and tingling. It just depends on which area of the brain is affected. But FAST is the acronym that you really need to remember to assess yourself and to assess anybody around you to know if they're having a stroke and to get to help fast.
Right. So, Dwayne, could you remember what FAST stands for? F is for?
Fist.
Right. A is for? Arms. If your arms
I think I must be
drooping.
having a stroke.
Oh my goodness, no.
Oh, no.
All right. The S is for slurred. It's slurred speech, right?
And
Right. And T is for
What
time.
E stands for?
The A stands for arm.
Very good.
Right.
Very good. You're learning. Very good.
Well, you got it wrong,
Yes.
so I had to. All right. So, viewers, we remember the acronym FAST in terms of the signs and symptoms. Now, I hear you mentioning, you mentioned heat stroke. That is one that we are more commonly known. That is more commonly known amongst the population, right? Everybody knows about heat stroke, right? Your parents could tell you, don't go in the fridge right after you come from outside, and whatever be the case. We'll get into that part, right? But could you tell us the types of stroke that a person can suffer from? So you mentioned ischemic. I heard heat stroke as well. So are there any other strokes?
Okay, the strokes we're talking about today are ischemic and hemorrhagic, right? Heat stroke is a totally different entity, just has the same ending name, right? But ischemic and hemorrhagic stroke. So think about it as you have a hose and you're watering your garden. So an ischemic stroke, the particles or the debris blocks the hose and there's no water getting to your garden, right? So basically a clot blocks off the blood flow to the brain. The other way is your hose, you twist, you turn it, the walls get weak, and then it bursts. So, and then the same thing happens, blood doesn't get to the target, right? And that is a hemorrhagic stroke. So one is a clot and one is a bleed.
Right.
Okay.
Wow. So I am getting a bit scared, thinking about this because it happens so often on the island. I can't help but ask, how can we maximize oxygen flow to the brain? And I'm only asking this because we are coming off the cusp of COVID-19, right? And COVID-19 is essentially a respiratory illness that affects oxygen flow because it's a blood flow, oxygen, So how can we maximize having blood flow to all our organs, especially our central nervous system, which is the brain?
It all boils down to lifestyle modification. So eating healthy, right? Because we want to prevent damage to the vessels. And all of those high fat, high sugar foods will end up forming plaques in the vessels. And those are what is weak will break down and cause clot formation, or it will break the vessels. So it starts with our diet. And of course, exercise. The recommendation is for moderate intensity exercise for at least 150 minutes a week. So that's 30 minutes for at least 5 days a week.
Okay, interesting.
I had a feeling exercise would have been one.
Yeah, and I used to exercise every day. And
what happened, Dwayne?
But you know something? I think I have to change the way I make jokes, because sometimes, you're laughing already. You can't laugh. But anyway,
okay.
I used to make this joke when my friends skin up their face. I'd be like, oh, look at you now, stroke. Or,
oh, my.
So I need to stop that, because I am now understanding how serious a stroke can be. And in some key instances, and it can be very fatal. How do we prevent, how does your department deal with those fatal or almost fatal stroke instances?
So getting here early is important, because we need to determine what type of stroke you have, because the treatment for both is different. But the majority of stroke that we see are the ischemic strokes, the clots, right? So our goal, once you reach here on time, is to remove that clot, right? And we only have, as I said, a narrow time frame to get that done. If you come outside of that window, our goal then becomes preserving the area around the area that was infarcted or died, and also to prevent you from having a recurrent stroke. So having one stroke is a risk factor for having another. Yeah, so that's our goal. And also we're going to manage all of your comorbidities. We're going to bring down that blood pressure. We're going to manage the blood sugar if it's uncontrolled. We're going to treat the cholesterol, and you're going to see all the lovely therapists that we have as they try to help you regain a good life outlook.
Okay. All right. So now a lot of people, you're saying that a lot of people, they normally watch the stroke happen. They watch at the signs and the symptoms, and you are stressing on time to get to the hospital. Now, is there anything within that time period between seeing the first symptom of that stroke to getting to the hospital? Is there anything that the person themselves can do within that time to,
help preserve,
that part that you're trying to save, or stop the progress of the stroke happening? Is there anything that can be done?
Well, the goal is to get here as fast as possible. Now, some people long ago, we used to say take an aspirin, but that's usually if you think you're having a heart attack. But the reason we wouldn't recommend that in a stroke is that we don't know what type of stroke you're having. If you take an aspirin and you have a hemorrhagic stroke, it's going to make the bleeding worse, right? So the goal is to get here as fast as possible, to try to stay as calm as possible, to get someone to bring you the ambulance or a relative. Please don't drive. People do that as well. Get someone to bring you to a health facility as early as possible, and to stay calm, because you don't want anxiety to cause your blood pressure to go even higher.
Interesting.
All right. Okay. And I know you mentioned lifestyle choices, diet and exercise. Is there anything else that could be done to prevent a stroke? Because you're saying that one stroke can lead to another. So within that time, after you all would have treated with the stroke and everything, is there anything that could be done to prevent another stroke happening, or to prevent a stroke all entirely for the persons who haven't experienced one?
So in addition to that and exercise, smoking cessation, you need to stop smoking, right? That's a given. Limiting the amount of alcohol that you consume. So a normal intake of alcohol for a woman would be one standard drink, and a male, 2 standard drink. But obviously, please try not to drink every day, right? Because that will, purport other problems for you. And then, of course, working with your healthcare team to manage your medical conditions, even if you're well, getting your wellness checks at least twice a year to ensure that, these conditions are not occurring. Because as I said before, hypertension is a silent killer. You wouldn't know you have it unless you check for it.
Yeah.
Okay. There is one myth I want her to debunk before we
There
leave
may be
here.
others as well.
A few, but there is just this one that stands out. Now, I know you told me that you were going to deal with the hemorrhagic and ischemic strokes this morning, but in terms of the heat stroke, when I come out of the sun and I want to go to the fridge to get a drink, would that be a problem going from very hot to very cold?
No, you want to get me in trouble with your grandparents, right? So usually we try not to go from extreme hot to extreme cold. And the reason for that is as you go into the cold areas, your blood vessels will constrict. So some people with the change in environments, you can feel dizzy, you can black out, right? And that is a problem by itself. But try to not do that. It is not a cause of stroke, right? But it can cause you to have symptoms such as loss of consciousness, dizziness, and you don't want to fall and hit your head. If you're having a heat stroke, so those persons who are jumping up in Carnival or marching in a parade and they're in the sun for a long time and they black out, you need to get them to a cool environment, cool them down a bit, ice packs under the arms, a cool rag on the head. Let them lie flat on their back, or you can elevate their legs, right? And as soon as they are awake, then let them drink fluids as much as possible.
Okay, and the same idea comes from if you are ironing your clothes and you should cool down before you go and take a bath. Yeah, it's the same thing.
It would not cause a stroke, but it can't. But it depends on how hot you are to go into how cold you are. It's the constriction. That cold water is going to cause those vessels to constrict and will prevent blood from getting to where it needs to go.
I feel like I can look forward to I told you so from my mother when I get home, because I know she's watching this.
Yes. No war. We're not trying to ensue any war here. But my final question to you is, Doctor, what are some local bush medicine you could use? No, I've heard, I don't know if you might know, that brewing some marijuana leaves, right, can maximize blood flow and oxygen flow to the brain. In your humble view or research, is there any merit to that idea? If not, can you recommend any other bush, as we could say, to help with that? We Tobagonians we bush everything.
Yeah, we know. Osteopathic medicine is actually a known branch of medicine. So I can't really speak to the herbs. They are more likely to be able to tell you the herbs, the dosage, etc., what to take. As a physician, I have to discuss the drugs that we use that are approved by the
Pharmaceutical
FDA.
drugs, yes.
There's a lot of research into marijuana and all the benefits of marijuana. So probably look out in the future for good research on that to see the effects on circulation. But I know for a fact that some studies have shown that smoking marijuana, because it can increase your heart rate and can fluctuate your blood pressure, some studies put you at increased risk for stroke. But then again, it depends on the formulation, what it's mixed with, etc. So the studies coming out of that will give us more information in the future. So hopefully more people do studies on marijuana, or specifically THC.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Guys, do not smoke marijuana.
All entirely. Just leave
Don't
marijuana alone.
Don't smoke at all. The leaves, you could drink it, in Jesus' name.
All right. Dr. Edebo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate you being here, getting this information firsthand to our viewers that may not have known. Now you know, right? Tobago Updates is here to update you on everything you need to know, right? So Dr. Edebo, thank you so much for being with us here this morning. Viewers, as we continue on, we encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
Hey everyone, it's time to stand up and make a difference. This year, we're coming together for the walk against crime. Bright and early at 5:30 a.m. on November 15th, we will be walking through the village of Golden Lane. And guess what? After our walk, there will be a delicious breakfast waiting just for you. And that's not all. Get ready for an aerobics burnout session where we'll be moving, grooving, and having fun.
Let's show that we care about our community. When we walk together, we're sending a message. We want to live in a safe, happy place, free from crime. So grab your sneakers, tell your friends, and get ready to be a part of something big.
Remember, it's not just a walk, it's a way to show we all have the power to help make our world better. See you there!
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
And we are back here on Tobago Updates, Youth Wednesdays. Dwayne, we started off with some very informative, information.
Yes, from
is what I should say. Yes, from Dr. Edabor, right? And we continue on from a different perspective, and that is to speak to the patient, right? We have with us this morning Mr. Hayden Duke. Good morning to you, sir. I mean, he's looking a bit nervous. Are you okay over there?
I'm fine.
You're fine?
Yes.
Mr. Duke could handle himself, right? He's a Duke after all, right? But good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Yes.
We have cancer survivors, and then we have stroke survivors.
That's correct.
We've just heard from Dr. Edabor the intricacies of a stroke, right? Did you ever in your lifetime think that at your age you would suffer a stroke?
Definitely not. At the time that it occurred, I would say in the peak of my life. You know, I was just about getting ready to celebrate in my mind my 40th birthday, planning a big bram. And April 11th of that year, the snap and everything just went literally dead.
Right.
So no, I wasn't looking forward to anything like that.
Wow. Wow. What was your lifestyle like? Were you? I don't want to ask what your profession is, but holistically, when you look at your life, would you say that you are very active? Would you say that you would have reduced the backyard gardening? What would you say? Your life was like before this?
My life basically would have changed a lot. And when I say that, I was an avid football player, coach, did a lot of things during that time in my youthful years. And not that I'm old now, but nonetheless, there were many things that I was involved in at that point in time. I literally, at that point as well, when it happened, was working probably about 20 hours per day, right? Wasn't eating right. I must confess that I am an avid Coke drinker. Coca-Cola. Let me get that right.
Let's
get that right.
Spell that out.
Right. And my diet wasn't right. I got into administration where football was concerned, and I stopped all exercising, stopped playing all the football and the such like. So I know a lot of lifestyle changes would have happened with me at that time.
Okay, and based on the information that we just got from the doctor in our previous interview, are you aware of the type of stroke that you had?
Yes.
Yes, and what type of stroke?
Right. It was a transient ischemic attack.
Okay.
Right, which is a minor stroke, but nonetheless, just as much, it did cause some damage.
Okay. And how were you aware that you were having the stroke? So we're going through the process now.
Sure.
When the stroke first appeared, so to speak, how did you know that you were having a stroke? What were the signs and symptoms that you saw?
It was a regular day for me. I went to work, sat down at my desk, and I just got this searing headache. And took myself out to casualty, and after blood pressure testing, everything on my left side just went dead.
Okay.
I didn't have the opportunity to check on slurred speech or anything like that. Everything just literally went dead on my left side.
Okay. And what was the process like after suffering through the stroke? What was it like going through casualty? What was your recovery like? What happened between recovery and casualty itself?
Casualty, the medical professionals took care of me.
Yes.
Pretty much very well. I would say kudos to them always, because that is what they always attempt to do and do to the best of their ability. What happened from casualty to recovery was a lot of changes, right? Lifestyle changes, first and foremost, having to make sure that I take my medication and try to get in some exercise. So those things were very, very much important in terms of the recovery. I did have a lot of help from the area that I worked in, which is physiotherapy. Yes?
Okay.
They helped me a lot in terms of my recovery.
Okay. So I was just about to ask about the physiotherapy aspect. I know we have a professional coming to speak to us after, your interview.
Sure.
But on the patient side of things, how easy or how hard it was to go through physiotherapy itself?
What can I say? They are professional in what they do, right? And I would tell you that they drilled me because it wasn't an easy thing to really learn to walk in a real sense, much less to run and go back and play football, as the case may be. It took a lot from me mentally because, I'm in the profession as well.
Yeah.
And I had to see patients, what they go through, and imagine myself having to go through that. So mentally for me, it was a really big deal. Thankfully, because of what I knew in the profession, I got up off my butt and did the things that were necessary.
All right. And how did this stroke affect your life? Your life at work, your life at home. I don't know if you're married, I don't know if you have a girlfriend, right? How did it affect your life, and how did you cope mentally, knowing as a man, as a Tobago, we Tobago men have the real pride. Going to the hospital is a big thing for we, right? How did you cope with that and maneuver that pridefulness, that egotistical, quote unquote, Tobago pride that we have in terms of recovery and being a victim of stroke?
No, I don't think it has anything to do with Tobago. A man has to be a man.
Yes.
At the end of the day,
yes,
and taking care of my family was one of the most important things.
We have to pick up the Tobago man.
All right. Well, then yes, the Tobago man from that perspective. But yes, it was a challenge. I had to see my children watch at me in a particular way yeah, and to try to see how best I could not let them feel what I was feeling. So it was a challenge, but however, I believe in the Most High.
Yes.
Right, and he was a great part in making sure that they supported me the way that I needed to be supported, and in return, I gave it back to them.
All right. Was there any pain, right, in moving? Did you suffer any pain on the day itself, on the day of the stroke, and were there any pain during the process?
Well, besides the very strong headache that he had.
Besides that, was there any pain the body?
There was limpness.
Okay.
Right, so that in itself, it was difficult to struggle to move my leg, to move my hand, as the case may be. And the pains that resulted from that did affect me. Yeah.
Okay. Before we close, what are some of your aftercare procedures like now? So at present, you look like you are fully recovered. I see, personally, I don't see any signs of you having a stroke all entirely. So what was your aftercare procedure like? What do you normally do on a daily basis now to help you through any processes that you have to do?
If my doctor is going to see this, I'm not going to mix it up. Right? But nonetheless, exercise is a must. Exercise is a must. Eating right is just as paramount. Every day you just do what you have to do, taking your medication. Right? Those are the important parts in ensuring that you recover well. Right? Forget the snacks, especially the snacks that has MSG and those corn kernels. Forget those things. Those things are not important in your life, right? They are fruits and vegetables. Those are the things that you should be focusing on more than anything else.
Okay.
And let me just put this out there. I didn't just recover from one. I recovered from 3.
3?
Wow. Right? Wow. Most persons are not going to see it, but I do have a little bit of a struggle still with my left leg, but because I walk fast, persons will know.
Okay. All right. And physiotherapy played a big part in that.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
We won't talk about the professional that is here, but he did a lot in terms of helping me as well.
Well, we are about to speak to him, right? So for stroke patients that may be out there and seeking that type of medical attention, we have our physiotherapist to come and speak on that topic today, right? So, Mr. Duke, I want to thank you so much for being with us here on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. I mean, I do really hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for the advice to the younger generation. I myself am taking it into consideration, that is exercise and getting rid of my snacks. Okay?
And when you're stressed.
You sound very much hurt by this transition. But, there is a God, Miss Nancy, who will help you get over your snacks.
Yes. I believe that he would.
So guys, this brings us to the end of this segment, and we're going to be talking to Mr. Wood, R. Wood, right? To come and talk to us about the recovery part of the stroke from a physiotherapist perspective. Remember to
share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Buffet, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Attention members, now is your chance to double or even triple your dividend payment with no increase in your existing loan payment. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to boost your dividends effectively. Whether you're planning a vacation or simply looking to maximize your savings, we've got you covered. Call us today at 639-8226 or 631-1336. Message us on Facebook for more information. Hurry, this offer won't last long. Bethel Credit Union, because we see you at BCU.
Go in. You have to stop it. You have to stop it. Welcome to my kitchen, guys. You have to stop it every month. That's it. That's the intro. Let's do it one more time, right?
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays and Tobago Updates Morning Show. You're viewing us here live in Port Moore in Scarborough, Tobago. My name is Dwayne and I'm joined with Miss Natalia Nancis, and we're going to take the discussion across this segment, the aspect of physiotherapy, and we have none other than the renowned Ruston Wood. Good morning to you, Mr. Wood.
Pleasant good morning to you. Pleasant good morning to the whole of Tobago and to the wider community.
All right. Are you comfortable, Mr. Wood?
I'm certainly.
You gotta ensure that the physiotherapist is comfortable.
Yes, I'm very comfortable
So
this
just
morning.
tell us about yourself and just a little bit of what you do in terms of your profession.
Well, my name is Ruston Wood, and I've been a physical therapist for over 10 to 15 years.
Okay.
And since we're talking about stroke, I've been treating all different kinds of stroke, and it has been fun. And I'm here to just educate people more about it.
I just hope that you don't laugh the patients.
No, Dwayne, I think that's a you thing. That's just you.
No, I'm not a physiotherapist, and why would I laugh at it? No.
You make jokes.
No, physical therapy is supposed to be fun, eh?
Okay.
So we are hard at times, but we do make our treatment session as fun and as enjoyable as possible.
And that is for the benefit of the patient, yes?
Yes.
Yes. Right. So Ruston Wood, owner of Holistic Physical Therapy Services, right? A physiotherapist for 10 to 15 years, well versed. So you're able to answer our questions this morning.
Yes, I will try as best as I can.
Right. So when is the physiotherapist called in? Seeing that we are talking about stroke and stroke victims, when is the physiotherapist called into the situation?
Well, at first you have to ensure that your blood pressure is regularized. So as the doctor said, after they have treated the patient and ensure that their blood pressure is regularized, then we come in as soon as possible.
Okay. And what is the initial treatment like? What do you analyze first before getting into, besides the blood pressure that you just mentioned? What else do you look at in terms of the patient on a whole to know how to proceed with your procedures?
Okay, well, our assessment is very long, but for today, and to make it very simple, we look at three simple things. We look at the body area that is affected, and then we look at the activity limitation, and then we also look at participation restriction, meaning that we look at the simple activities that you have in challenge with, and then we also look at the activities that you cannot do. Right. So, for example, you might not be able to to brush your teeth. You might not be able to hold a cup, right? Those are the activity limitations that you may have. But the participation restrictions, for example, we just came out of Carnival. You might not be able to jump and whine and stuff like that. Right? So those are some of the activities that you might be restricted, that you might not be able to do because you have the stroke.
Okay. My question is, how do you assess the area? Is it scaled based on a percentage performance? Because sometimes when you go to the hospital and an organ is dying, they may say, well, it's 2% functional, 5% functional. What scale measurements do you use to assess the functionality of a affected area?
Well, we do have some functionality scales that we use to assess the patient. So, for example, in terms of your strength, we do have different measurements that we use to determine how strong a person is, how functional that person is. So these are some simple things that we use just to gauge where they're at and where we could take them from.
All right. Have you ever treated a patient that had a stroke so severe that you really have no feeling at all, don't feel nothing, and what was that like dealing with those severe patients versus those who might have had a milder stroke than others?
Well, we normally have stroke in two ways. One way, we will have a stroke patient that is like very, 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 very rigid, that they can't move their hand at all, or just like what you said, that they just have no feelings at all, that they can't move. And you have to craft your treatment in a certain way that would encourage them. And the treatment doesn't only involve the patient, but it also involves the family members as well. So it's a whole collaborative effort in terms of rehabilitating the patient.
And what would you say, based on those two categories you just outlined, might be the recovery time for these things? Is it 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, and so on? Before we talk about price, yeah.
I'm normally reluctant to answer a question like that because if we normally, physical therapists, if we normally give a patient a certain time, even though there is an average time, we all are based on our lifestyle, we would recover differently.
Yes.
So sometimes if you rush to tell a patient, okay, it will take 6 months or a week or so, and that time pass and it doesn't, and they don't see significant progress because the stroke affect people in different ways and they recover in different ways, and the timing in which they recover is different, and how eager they are to do their exercises.
Yes.
Right, and and if they're able to follow the instructions properly and stuff like that, it would affect their recovery period. So sometimes we are kind of reluctant to tell patients how soon they will get better, but we more would encourage them to do their exercise and help them psychologically as well too, because it will take a toll on them and their family members as well too.
All right. There are some professionals who get down in the trenches with their patients. They cry with them, they laugh with them.
Is that you, Ruston?
Are you that type of thing? Do you cry with your patients? Are you just there, like one of those, posts, just strong and moral support?
Not necessarily cry, but I do laugh with them. Again, as I said earlier, we have to make the process as easy as possible because it is a little bit hard, it is a little bit challenging, but once you're at it all the time, once you're consistent with your exercises and also with the assistance of your family members, and I really, really want to stress this, stroke rehab doesn't involve the patient alone, it involves the family members as well too.
The support.
So they too will have to be, let me rephrase that. They too should be a part of the rehabilitation process.
Yes.
Okay. And for the patients who may have suffered paralysis in one or more areas, could you demonstrate, using doing, of course, some of those exercises that can be done for them to keep fit? Because I know that paralysis is one thing that they'll be dealing with, but also keeping fit during the process of it. So are there any exercises that can be done for a paralytic patient?
All right. I want to take a different approach.
Okay.
I want to say that your body is an excellent compensator.
Right.
Excellent compensator. And your body will do what it needs to do in order to accomplish its task. So, and I will demonstrate it to
You using doing? Yes, of course.
So you might say that, okay, I'll just go down by the beach and I'll get good, or I'll just go to the gym and I'll get better. But if you really look at how the person is moving, and you look to see what is your normal movement, then you will see the difference. And that is where we come in. We have the eye to see what is an abnormal movement and how you should and the correct way how you should move. And that's how we craft our treatment. That's how we craft our exercises in order to get you back to where you were before, or even better.
Okay. Well, I was just about to ask that question. The doctor said that some of your procedures are different to avoid having that person have a recurrence in the stroke, the whole stroke condition, right? What are some of the exercises that you might do to prevent the recurrence of a stroke?
Well, simple exercises like you're walking and
I could do that. Yeah.
Yes. Walking, running, and stuff like that. These are some simple, just to be active. Most of us live a sedentary lifestyle.
Yes.
And because we claim that we are quote unquote so busy that we don't even involve a little time to do some exercise. And as simple as 15 to 20 minutes. Sorry, let me rephrase that, because I don't want people to, when they say 15, they'll say, all right, exact 15 and that's it. Right? Normally we say about 20 to 30 minutes exercise every day or every other day. That should be sufficient for somebody. But what you should do is incorporate your exercise in your normal activity.
Right. So before we wrap up, we're going to go quickly into some of the demonstrative exercises.
I was just about to say Dwayne was going to run away from these things.
Yes, I knew that.
But I want to see some of these demonstrations.
So
last time I was the guinea pig. Here is Dwayne.
I just want to show you just one simple thing, how your body could easily compensate for when you have a stroke. Right?
Yes.
So Dwayne, I just want you to hold out your hands straight for me. Right? No. Hold your fingers straight, right, to my hands. Good?
Yes.
Now this is somebody who is normal, right? They will have their hands straight like this, just to hold my hands, right? So I'm going to just lower your hands a little bit and bend, right? And I'm going to try to keep my hands like this and ask Dwayne, without moving your hands, to try to touch my hand. Try and touch my hands.
You could lean
do what you
forward,
have to do to touch my hand. You see? So that is how you simply, and if I raise my hand a little, try and touch my hand. No, without standing. Right, so he has to lean forward, right? And sometimes he will turn his trunk in order to raise your hands. And that's how your body compensates in order to accomplish the task that it's supposed to do. So what we do, we look for these simple changes, or I would normally call it bad habits.
Right.
And we will craft for exercises that will able for him to move normal, right? What could cause this movement is these muscles in his scapula is not firing properly, and that could be one of the causes of the stroke, right? So we, based on our exercises and on our tricks that we have up our sleeves, right, we are able to get that patient back to how they're supposed to be. So let me just say this before we run, because I know we are short
a little
on time.
press of time, but that's okay.
Yes. Always trust your physical therapist. You should see your physical therapist as soon as possible, right? Don't just go down and have somebody just rub out your fingers or so, because we like that.
Yes.
Understand? Always see a physical therapist first. We are trained to look for any abnormalities, and that's how we craft our treatment in order to get that patient back to how they were before.
Okay.
All right. I want to thank Mr. Wood for being here with us. I'm going to get my therapy in a short while, guys. Thank you guys for joining us, and this brings us to the end of Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. This is Natalia Nancis and Dwayne Nels telling you to share the life, share the life, share the life. Have a great day.
grief is really about phases. Some days you'll be good, some days you won't. Some days you'll feel on top of the world, and some days you'll feel like, you know, you're in a pit and you can't need to help to bear the weight of this heaviness of loss. Support is what helps a woman, a family, people that are grieving overcome the loss that comes with losing an infant, whether it's miscarriage, stillbirth, or a neonatal death. And so today I'm hoping to help to break the silence, to normalize this. 1 in 4 women would experience some form of infancy or pregnancy loss.
The founder, Makida, is my cousin, and she was very supportive of Hannah Rose and I when we went through our loss in 2022, even though it's naturally a painful experience for men as well. I think, you know, as a man, it's really hard to fathom how painful of an experience it is for the women and the mothers who go through that experience. And community is extremely important. So the awareness for me, raising the awareness through the organization is equally as important as the individual help that it gives to the people who go through those experiences.
Having the experience myself, it showed me a depth of pain that I think only others who have really experienced it could really know. And so it's really a healing thing to be able to connect with other people who could relate to the experience.
We know that we cannot be silent anymore. It is time for us to speak. The international theme this year is Together We Care. It is centered on the message that self-care is the most important integral way to show we care. In fact, it is essential if we are going to be able to raise awareness and speak out about pregnancy loss.
Production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Tobago. Good morning to all of you and welcome to GMT this morning. Yes, I am your host, Adana Kombi, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I know you're used to seeing Chanel at 8 a.m., but I am here this morning to take you through our program, and I do hope that you can stay with us as we have conversations about things happening right here on the island of Tobago or things concerning the people who reside here. But before we get into our conversations this morning, we're going to talk about the news in 90 seconds. Police officers were praised by Police Commissioner Earl Haywood Christopher for their outstanding efforts in ensuring the safety and success of the 2024 Tobago Carnival, which drew over 8,000 participants. In a media release, she praised the professionalism, teamwork, and leadership of the DCP, Suzette Martin, along with ACPs Collis Hazel, Oswin Subero, and the Senior Superintendent Earl Eli. Haywood Christopher thanked officers for ensuring a safe environment for residents and visitors and acknowledged the support from Trinidad divisions, emphasizing the commitment of the TTPS to public safety. Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tashia Boris, announced plans to launch the antiquities component of her division by the first quarter of 2025. Boris said the division is currently reprioritizing projects for this fiscal year, focusing on culture and establishing the antiquities department. She noted challenges in finding specialized talent and securing legal expertise for robust policy development delayed the process. The division aims to ensure proper frameworks for managing antiquities involving government, civil society, and NGOs. Additional public consultations on the Strawberry Redevelopment Project are set to occur within the next 2 weeks. This was announced by Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tashia Boris. The decision follows concerns over the project's transparency. But Boris reassured the public that no final plan has been approved and highlighted the importance of collaborating with stakeholders within Crown Point, Canaan, and Bonaccord. The division remains committed to completing both phases of the project by 2025, but will continue refining the designs through ongoing consultations to ensure community support and prevent unwelcome changes. And that was your news in 90 seconds. Of course, we're going to have conversations this morning, as I mentioned, about things happening here on the island of Tobago. And as you're aware, we just came out of Carnival, and the conversation is still very much about the review and the assessment in terms of the success that was declared for Carnival 2024 here on the island of Tobago. So we start our conversation this morning with Miss Marceline Ned. She is a band leader here on the island of Tobago, and we're going to go through the review and her experience of Carnival 2024. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Right, so it's a pleasure to have you here on the program this morning as we talk about the recently concluded October Carnival here on the island of Tobago. I know leading up to the event, you highlighted some challenges that you were experiencing and your dissatisfaction with what was happening. Now that the event has taken place, the masqueraders masqueraded, everybody had a good time on the road. And of course, we're hearing so many different stakeholders saying it was an absolute success. We're hearing from the business community it was a success. We're hearing from the Division of Tourism it was a success. We're hearing from masqueraders and band leaders that it was a major success. We're hearing from promoters about the success of the event. So I want to go through with you from where you sit. What was the experience like for you this year?
At first, the buzz was okay, excited, say, okay, last year was pretty all right. We had an excited time. So I step in for the third time this year. But coming down midway, it started to get challenging. Whereby, your right sponsors and got no response up to today in saying, well, okay, we have received your letter and well, unfortunately, we can't assist or anything like that. But yet and all, I still went through. Getting masqueraders also was very challenging.
So what was the response in terms of getting masqueraders? You're saying getting masqueraders was challenging. What was the response in terms of the capacity of your band being on the road this year for Carnival?
Well, unfortunately, I had really prepared to 300 persons. I did not meet that goal.
Can you tell us what your numbers look like?
Well, if I meet 40, I had plenty.
But what do you think was the reason for the numbers being so very low? I mean, you're saying that you're trying to aim for 300, and here you are saying that you got at least 40, and that is a stretch. So what was the reason for that happening where you are concerned? Because I saw some of the other bands on the road, and they had numbers. They had the numbers. So what was the cause in your case?
Well, to tell you the honest truth, like some of the local players that played with my band last year and the year before, their challenge was they did not receive their salaries to play. So I of myself, I'm not giving away my costume because this is not like the National Carnival where you're vying for a prize. You have to make your costume, sell your costume in order to make your money. So that for me was a no. I was not.
But were you able to market your band, your presentation to new prospects in terms of inviting new people into your band? Because if you're saying that the people who are used to playing with you or who played with you last year, unfortunately they were not able to play this year, did you make any attempts to market your band to new persons or other persons who might not have probably the first time playing, or they played with another band and they want a different experience?
Well, I took the opportunity with the Tobago Day, because it was only 3 bands went for Tobago Day, so I took the opportunity. I got a few persons from Brooklyn on the Tobago Day. I went on the bus crawl in Trinidad, so I took that opportunity, also gave out flyers. I did Instagram, Facebook. The only thing I did not do for this year was do ads. As I said, it was very challenging because last year I did it on my own with what money that I had, so I did put out ads last year. And then we had the band house that some people gravitated to the band house special that I had. I did all of that this year, but I don't know what went wrong.
Well, it's very unfortunate that you had that experience, but as I said, from all indications, other band leaders and just yesterday we spoke with somebody from the Tobago October Carnival Association, and mentioning, of course, the success that came from the carnival itself. So I'm hoping that for the future editions of the event, you are able to set up your marketing in such a way that you can attract other people. What are you looking forward to going forward because you're going to start to prepare for 2025? What are the things you would like to see for your specific band, and what are the changes you think you need to make to ensure that you market properly and encourage and invite new members to your band?
Well, on same Sunday, I met a couple of persons who did not play with any band. And they were saying, we played with Fog Angels, we played with Iconic Mass, and we was looking for something different. I said, but it had other bands were on other platforms. Like, for instance, we were on WhatsApp, people were sharing, we were on Instagram, we were on Twitter. And how come you didn't know about other bands? Because when they saw me in my costume, they were, wow, where were you all the time? I said, but we have other bands. There's not only Iconic Mass, Fog Angel. That is nice, but venture to other small bands, because there are small bands like myself were in the same position. So me and my team, we decided that we already know what we going for next year already. So we decided that we are going back to the drawing board, try to pull our resources together, because my sister, which is Lisa Wall, who does City Raw Job for Juve, we collaborated together and we decided here we're going to sit down, put pen to paper, start early, do our photos early, and put ourselves out there. So for Carnival next year, we should be out there promoting our band.
And I do wish you the very best success for next year and for all your other events that you host as a band leader here on the island of Tobago. In closing, is there anything else you want to share with our viewers this morning?
Oh, well, I want to thank the few persons who from Trinidad, Brooklyn, England, who came and, was with Maslin and Associate. We had a wonderful time. Yes, the carnival was successful. We had few hiccups. There were people who came to Tobago and had a wonderful time. Say that Tobago people was welcoming, and we do hope that they will come again. And this time, look to the other small bands to see the excitement that we have to offer.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in this morning and sharing your experience with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Marcelin Ned, a band leader here on the island of Tobago, speaking about the October Carnival 2024 that recently concluded. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations. And when we come back, we speak with Winston Gypsy Peters. Yes. So we do hope that you can stay with us as we go through that conversation. We'll be right back.
Strong and the vibes is never wrong.
Tobago Carnival is just around the corner, and Bethel Credit Union has you covered. Whether you're prepping for costumes, parties, giveaways, or a staycation, it's all within your reach with our Carnival loan sale. For as little as $900 a month, yes, $900 a month, you can get the funds you need to make this Carnival season unforgettable. At Bethel Credit Union, we're here to make your celebration dreams a reality. Visit us today or call 639-8226 for more information. Normal lending criteria applies, because we see you at BCU.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 GB fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
You asked and standard listened. The TGIS sale is back, up to 75% off store-wide. Washers from $1,249. Stoves from $1,299. Fridges from $1,999. Patio set from $1,999. And up to 35% off Samsung and LG TVs. Plus a daily magic hour with even more savings. Follow standards on social media for the inside scoop. October 25th to the 30th only.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us here on GMT. Good morning, Tobago. Of course, it's always a pleasure coming to you wherever you are, whatever you're doing this morning. We're so happy that you can make us a part of your morning routine. As you are aware, we're still talking about Carnival 2024. And why are we talking about it? Because it was a major success. Yes, there were challenges along the way, but we have enjoyed beautiful success as reported by so many different stakeholders here on the island of Tobago. We've also heard from revelers, we've heard about from masqueraders, and a lot of persons who participated in the event here on the island. So we will talk about it a little bit more as we continue the assessments to get all the statistics in. This morning we're going to have a conversation with Mr. Winston Gypsy Peters. He is the NCC chairman, and we're talking about his opinion, his assessment based on the information he has seen or his experience with Carnival 2024. Good morning, Mr. Peters, and welcome.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me. Thank you ever so much.
Of course, of course. It is an absolute pleasure speaking with you this morning. I am a child of the 80s, and so when I hear these types of names, I get very, very excited. Just last week, I spoke with Michael Osuna. I was able to interview him, and these are people of the generation that I grew up with. So it is indeed my pleasure. It is indeed my pleasure speaking with you this morning. Are we talking about Tobago Carnival 2024 here on the island? We know this is the third edition of the Carnival production here on the island. And at the inception, when there was the first one in 2022, there was a lot of opinions in the atmosphere. People were talking about how will it happen? Should it happen? What will be the approach? What would it look like? What would it feel like? And here we are 3 years after. Reports coming in from, as I mentioned, a wide cross-section of the stakeholders declaring it an absolute success. While we're still waiting on the actual statistics and the data from all, ends and corners, we're seeing that we have enjoyed some measure of success. What are your views on what you have been able to see and hear about the Carnival for this year?
Well, let me preface what I'm going to say by saying to you that it is a well-known fact, and if it is not, I want it to be known, that I am one of the people who work hard, and fought everybody to have a standalone carnival in Tobago. I am extremely happy to see the trajectory that the Tobago Carnival has taken. The trajectory is that it is upwards. You're not seeing anything going down. If I have to give some marks, and I have to give a mark from let's say 1 to 10, I would give them 8.5, because the effort that had been put in it is human effort. And I would say that it was a big success myself, because I have been there for all of it, from the first one to the third one, and hopefully how many more and how long I'm going to be around, I would be right there. But I am saying to you that I love what I'm seeing. I love what is happening. I love how the Tobago Carnival is taking the direction that it is taking now. It is very, very, very good. I enjoyed it, as so did many other persons.
Right, and I'm happy to hear that you have enjoyed it. And your experience over the years within culture, the arts, carnival, soca, calypso, what do you think ascribes for a good production of something of the magnitude of Carnival? What do you think are some of the elements that must be put in place, that we must continue to build on to ensure that the Carnival production is as a success as it was this year and even greater in years to come?
All Tobago Carnival has to do is to imbue its own carnival with its own tradition, because Tobago has a tradition apart from Trinidad, and all they have to do is to imbue that in it. Tobago have characters that can be put into the carnival to create that uniqueness of a Tobago carnival as distinct from a Trinidad carnival. Because Trinidad and Tobago's carnival is distinct from all the other carnival that we have exported in the world, because of the characters that we have, and because of what created our carnival and how it was created and why it was created. So Tobago has an opportunity to do the same thing. And I am saying to you that, and I said this before, so I would say it again, that Tobago Carnival has the potential to be one of the best carnivals in the world, because you all are planning a carnival now that is based on nothing else but basically tradition, and in terms of the characters that you're going to put in there, and nothing else but economics. Trinidad Carnival has too much added because of its antecedents. Tobago is not encumbered by that at all, as indeed carnivals like Notting Hill and New York and Canada and all the other islands, they are not encumbered by what Trinidad Carnival is encumbered with. I heard Gary Griffith say something about having carnival in a certain way in Trinidad and whatever, he has to understand why Carnival was created in Trinidad. And we have to understand now why we are creating Carnival in Tobago. Because the economic stimulus that Carnival is cannot be surpassed by anything else. If Carnival was a different type of investment for private individuals, as it is, it incorporates private individuals. But if it was a solely private enterprise, that person will be a billionaire.
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with you there. And you were talking about the traditions of Tobago, and this year for Carnival they included a segment called the Monarchs of Mass, and there they of course they did the traditional, and that is one of the things the secretary Tashia Grace Burry, she was on our program yesterday, and she was mentioning the fact that we have to continue to make Tobago Carnival unique to Tobago, sell Tobago, package Tobago in such a way where you must realize that you are in someplace different. You are in Tobago. So you're going to keep that kind of Tobago centric. Talking about, there's talks in the atmosphere, people talking about when you're talking about a carnival, you want an extended period because you want to revel, you want to fit for as long as you can. You want to escape your reality and be in a space where you can let your hair down and be free and just, just lose all inhibitions. And there talks about extending the carnival period. Do you think that it is wise at this point in time to expand the period, to extend it to a longer period outside of the Friday, Saturday, Sunday here in Tobago?
Well, the thing about it is that Saturday and Sunday is really the culmination of Tobago's Carnival, whether they know it or not, or whether they like it or not. It is really the culmination of it. Carnival in Tobago is really about 3 weeks. Because all the activities that take, just like Trinidad, right now, all now Carnival in Trinidad basically starts. Because we have band launches, we have all type of carnival activities taking place. Monday and Tuesday in Trinidad and Tobago is really the culmination of Carnival. But the carnival activities that takes place, actually, let's go back to Tobago and centric it to Tobago. The thing about it is that it is, in fact, Carnival in Tobago is about 3 weeks. So I don't think that there's really a need to extend the days to say that you're going to have Carnival, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No, I don't think that. I think that the culmination on Sunday and Saturday and Sunday, that's good enough. Everything else should be built in and within that. You understand what I'm saying? So the pre-carnival activities is what determines how great the carnival is going to be. All those pre-carnival activities. And I think that Tobago is having its fair share of pre-carnival activities. Even though up to this point it is not sufficient, they are going to have more as we go along because people like success. And as long as people see something is successful, they are going to find themselves, being incorporated in it one way or the other, whether it is business or just for revelry, but it is going to be in there. So I am saying to you that there's no need to extend it, to have extra days. What are you going to do? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday? No. That Saturday and Sunday is nice for Tobago. It's really, 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 really good. And I think people appreciate it.
Absolutely. And you were talking about some of the pre-events that happen that lead up to Carnival. I'm not sure if you're aware, but in Tobago, we have something called the Blue Food Festival, and that took place this year, week before.
Yes, I am there. I go to Blue Food.
And what was your experience like as we talk about that now? What was your experience like at the Blue Food Festival?
I did not this year. I didn't go this year because I was out of the country. But the thing about it is that once I'm here, I go to Blue Food and it's a great experience. As a matter of fact, it's a unique Tobago experience. Whether you want to inculcate that in your carnival or say that your carnival starts that time to have more carnival activities after that and not just have Blue Food and there's a big space between. You can have the Blue Food and that maybe Blue Food should be the start of your carnival season or your carnival activities.
That is actually how it happened this year on the island. It really was a bumper season for us for Carnival. There were so many things happening. We had World Food Day. We came out of that. Then we went straight into the Blue Food Festival, and then we went into the Carnival. So I think it was, absolutely amazing the way things were planned and the way the calendar was set for this year. We're looking forward. I mean, Tobago is really, really in excitement mode, and we're looking forward to what can happen next year. In terms terms of festivals on the island of Tobago, are you in tune with some of the festivals that we host on the island, and how do you think we can kind of tie them in to ensure that we continue to market Carnival throughout the entire year?
Well, of course, you must market Carnival throughout the entire year. As a matter of fact, that's what I was saying, that Tobago has an opportunity that Trinidad really don't have. Tobago have an opportunity to use Carnival as a tourism tool, as a definite tourism tool, without any religious attachment, without any political attachment, without any encumbrance whatsoever. Tobago has that opportunity, and whatever you envisage now, you can incorporate it within your Carnival product. Whether you want to take it further, bring it closer, incorporate it, have it as standalone, or, it is just, you have an opportunity to do all of that.
Absolutely.
And that is what I envisaged all these many years ago.
Absolutely, and of course we appreciate your contributions in the space of culture, Carnival, the arts. As I mentioned, growing up, I grew up with this name in my household. I don't know if our viewers know, but my home is a calypso home. My father is a calypso writer here on the island of Tobago, and we were just always sitting around the television around Carnival time, listening to the types of productions that you people come up with in terms of your lyrical content and the way, of course, you deliver it on the national stage for the March Gras, and ensuring that you draw the people in with the stories that you tell. So I must say, of course, I really appreciate you and all that you have done for culture and the arts here in Trinidad and Tobago, and your involvement, your passion, of course, for seeing Tobago continuing to rise in that place as well. In closing, Mr. Peters, is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers this morning as it relates to Tobago, or Carnival, or festivals, your relationship with us, or anything in general you'd like our viewers to know this morning?
Well, I have always had a relationship with Tobago because my relatives are from Tobago, so I have lots and tons of relatives in Tobago. A lot of them who are some of them are involved in your Carnival activities, and I feel very good about that. But what I want to take the opportunity to do now as well, I want to commend the police force, the police service. I want to commend them for doing what they did. They did a fantastic job. I looked at what they were doing, and I spoke to some of them even before the Carnival, and they told me what they were going to do, and I saw them do it. It is something that they planned, and they executed it well. And I want to say how thankful I am for that, and I'm thanking them for Tobago and looking forward for them doing the same thing in Trinidad. One thing I want to tell Tobago, though, I would like to see Tobago continue sticking to making sure investing their money in the Tobago Carnival, and not waste time and invest any money in the March or February or January Carnival that Trinidad and Tobago normally have. If you must take part in it, come to Trinidad. Come to Trinidad, because when we waste time in Tobago and spend a lot of money there for that February or March Carnival, everybody still comes to Trinidad, like indeed the rest of the world do. And then what happens? That money doesn't bring back the return that you invest, and it doesn't make sense. You have a good Tobago product now. Sit down and do your planning, invest your money, put your resources into that Carnival to make it the product that we know it can be. Do not waste your time with trying to bring this February thing, and you have two jab on the road in Tobago for Carnival, and nobody to even watch them. Not even their own family, because their family gone Trinidad. So you see, the thing about it is that is my admonition, if I have one, is to make sure that we continue to put all our resources and our effort in making Tobago's Carnival what we know it can be. And if you look at what was put into it this year, and if you look at the result of this year, you will see what I am saying should be continued.
Absolutely, and I totally agree with you. Of course, the assessments will continue as we continue to plan for festivals here on the island of Tobago, including Carnival, whether it is in October or what we're going to do for the January, February instance. Thank you so very much for coming on here this morning.
I could tell you what to do for January and February. I could tell you right now. Tobago is the tourism part of Trinidad and Tobago. Prepare for after Carnival in Trinidad to make sure that you have good transportation and you have the kind of activities in Tobago, the kind of after Carnival activities in Tobago that would bring people to the beaches and the hotels and the other things and to the culinary aspect of your country, of Tobago. Bring them there. That is the kind of thing that you must do. The money that you would have wasted on the February Carnival, put it into the tourism aspect and do things that would bring people over. Have the Tobago cooler. Call that the cool down period for Carnival. And you would have the same amount of Trinidad people and all the other persons who came down for Carnival going to Tobago for all your other after Carnival activities because they have already had their fill of Carnival.
Absolutely. Wisdom through experience there. Thank you so much, Mr. Winston Gypsy Peters, for coming on this morning and sharing your thoughts with us and for giving us those recommendations, which I am certain will be part of the discussion as stakeholders meet to continue planning. Do have a pleasant morning and enjoy your holiday tomorrow.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is mine. Same to you. And all the best, Tobago. I love you, man.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Mr. Winston Gypsy Peters as he brought his opinions, his thoughts, and recommendations for the Tobago October Carnival and other festivals here on the island of Tobago. We have to go for a short break, but we're going to continue conversations here in studio. So we do hope that you can stay with us as we continue before we wrap this morning. We'll be right back.
People strong and the vibes is never wrong. Beauty.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
Welcome back, and good morning, Tobago. Again, of course, you are here with us on GMT. Good morning, Tobago. Program here on the Tobago Updates channel, and thank you so much for staying with us. Of course, you know, we continue in conversations about our Carnival 2024 here on the island of Tobago, and we are going to go to another guest this morning who had an experience at our Carnival event here on the island, and this is none other than Tish G. She is a content creator, of course, and you know, having that experience here on the island of Tobago for Carnival, of course, it's always amazing to have, you know, conversations with persons who come to Tobago to participate in Carnival events. Good morning, Tish, and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. So yes, I'm Tisha. I have a YouTube channel called I'm Living My Life, and I cover Caribbean culture and entertainment. Of course, I'm Trinbagonian. Was born in Trinidad. I live in the US, but I cover carnivals, especially across the Caribbean diaspora. And to be honest, Tobago Carnival 2022 was the second carnival that I covered on my channel. So yeah.
Wow. I know you've covered 2024. You've been here for the event 2024. What is your experience like? And I know sometimes content creators have to take their time to edit their product before they place them on their platforms. So I'm not sure if it's up yet or if you're still in the editing process to get that out there on your channel. What are some of the things we can look forward to? What was your experience like while you were here?
Okay, so the way I create content is, especially for YouTube, I do it more in real time because what I experience, I want my viewers to experience with me, right? So I would have covered the pavement line, I covered Juve, Pan, Parade of Bands, and they were all live streams, you know. So for me, I've covered 2022, 23, and 24. And from inception, I found like Tobago Carnival, it's a really great experience in terms of vibes. To me, like the people who come here, they come here to have a great time. And so far, it's been a consistent product. I know it's still in the early stages. There are still some things to iron out, but the brand itself, it has been consistent. And like I've seen improvements, especially this year, and adjustments to the calendar that has been, you know, favorable. And I think it works for the people that came here for Carnival.
Talking about the consistency in the brand, right? You said that you covered the first one in 2022, and you came back for 2023, and you came back for 2024. What is that thing that drew you back for each year to continue covering? And I'm certain that you'll be back for 2025.
Of course. So, like for me, I like the intimacy of Tobago Carnival. I like it that it's really small. So far, the parties or the events that I've been to have not been like on a grand scheme, but everybody who's there, they're living in the moment and they're having a great time. You know, so Juve, I know like for the first year it moved from downtown, like in the Crown Point area, and then it moved to Scarborough last year. And this year, which was good. I mean, like there was more, the route was longer to cover. In terms of like, you know, infrastructure, the first year I saw, you know, trucks were struggling because of the lines overhead. They couldn't get past the lines overhead. The night mass, I saw that the night mass was moved from Roxborough to Scarborough, which I think was a better move, even though I didn't cover night mass. Another YouTuber covered it. And I think that was great in terms of accessibility and getting from one event to another. The pan and powder, or rhythm seal and pan, that was fabulous. I have a lot of pan viewers on my channel, so I think like the reception for that was overwhelming as well. Yeah, the Parade of Bands, I just find like as the years go by, the organization gets better in terms of, especially for the first year, a lot of people didn't even realize that there was Tobago Carnival. Even the second year, you know, and I saw that improvement this year in terms of like social media and people getting information out there about the events that's happening in Tobago Carnival. So much so that you had a successful night mass, right? You had a successful panorama. Even the Titans, last year when I went to the Sokomona, I forgot what it's called, Titans. It's Soca Titans, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that turnout was really good too. So the Carnival product itself, I think it's improving. I think that there are things that are not improving that, could make the experience a little bit better. I don't know if you want to touch on those.
Before we go there, you spoke about being able to, first you're not certain that there was a carnival, not hearing much about it. There's a lot of talk in the atmosphere that the marketing for the carnival was not as it should be. But here you are, somebody who does not reside in Tobago and still able to say that you found that the marketing was sufficient in terms of being able to know what events were taking place, knowing the calendar. So I must, I must commend that, of course, for the marketing aspect of it. I know that there are some challenges that we have to work on. As you mentioned, it's a pretty young product. It started in 2022. We've never had a solo carnival here on the island of Tobago. And, we, as you mentioned, you could see the improvement year after year, and there will still be things to improve. Even we were speaking to the Secretary of Tourism just yesterday, and she was saying that she was thinking that by the 5th year, we would get to where we are now in the 3rd year. So we have made a lot of improvements. But I do know that there are things that can be worked out. And I've heard a lot of different participants talking about their personal experience. While the overall experience was a success, there are a few personal experiences that people might want to talk about in terms of what can be done to ensure that their personal experiences. But what are some of the things that you have identified that you think we can, address, work on, have bigger discussions, better planning in certain areas?
So I think like one thing that I have not that I have not seen improve is road management. From the first year to this year, there's priority for emergency vehicles to pass, but as a masquerader, it is like a frustrating road experience to have like one lane dedicated to that. But in that one lane, you have traffic going 2 ways, right? So I think that could be improved. Even if you have the emergency vehicles passing, just one direction would be helpful. It's really challenging for the truck drivers, the MCA, and the masqueraders just to figure out, okay, what's going on here. And it impacts the whole vibe of the experience, and of course, the sea bridge and air bridge, yes, that will be, and that is, a consistent, I guess, feedback that you will get. It's the same, it's the same, yeah. So I saw that the new airport is being built, so I hope that bigger airport would improve the international flights that are coming in. I hope there are more opportunities for that, so we won't have to be so reliant on the sea and air bridge from Trinidad and vice versa. I think that was the main thing, like those two on time. Like everything is time-based, and especially since the period is so short, like back-to-back events. So like the Soca Titans led into the pavement line, and the start of the pavement line was impacted because there were artists from the Soca Titans, and I'm not even sure if that started early or on time, so it's unfair for me to say that. However, like the pan and powder and the mass, the pan and powder started later, like 1 hour late, and I think that would have impacted the start of the night mass, so just to be mindful of those things, because everything is so like crunch. It's a time crunch. So yeah, I think those would improve the experience for us. One other thing, and it's not necessarily Tobago Carnival. I just think for me, who was reliant on taxis, and for friends who were reliant on taxis, it was a little hard to hear that, when you call a taxi, they're saying, oh, it's too late for them to come out. I hope that Tobago taxi service embraces. I mean, it's only going to get bigger. And this would really, really improve the experience for us, especially those who don't want to drink and drive, and just want to have a good time and want to be free. So, I just hope that part of it improves as well over the years.
I appreciate your reviews there, and I can tell you that at least two of the things that you mentioned, I know the Secretary of Tourism, I interviewed her yesterday, and she spoke about the transportation opportunity. She also spoke about the conversation that we're having with the Sea Bridge and the Air Bridge to ensure that we can get persons to Tobago, even looking at other routes. You know, there are so many things that we can do, but the conversations, they have made the assessments, they have seen, you know, some of the areas that need to be strengthened. So I know that while they have the stakeholder engagements, while they're continuing to do the assessments, that those things will come up in the conversation as well to ensure that the product is as perfect as possible at this point in time. Of course, you know, before you go, I'd like for you to share with our viewers anything that you want to highlight at this point in time as it relates to your experience in Tobago for our carnival, and you know, probably your social media handles so we can follow you to see your output.
Okay, so overall, I think Tobago Carnival is a fabulous experience from the first year. I've always said, like, I give it grace because it's still an early product, you know, and we're still smoothing out any issues that we may have. But from the first year, it's been excellent. I mean, like, all the events that I've been to, the people that are there, they want to be there. And I think it's a more affordable experience than Trinidad's Carnival, of course. And to me, you'll get what you want out of it, right? And if you want to follow me, my YouTube channel is I Am Living My Life, and my Instagram is tisha.t.tish, tisha.t.tish.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on the program this morning and sharing your experience with us. We do appreciate your reviews, and of course, the conversation will continue as we grow the product called Tobago October Carnival here on the island. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Tish G as she brought her experience to us this morning, and we're going to continue the conversation. In fact, on set and ready to have the conversation with you is another participant in the Carnival event here on the island, another visitor to the island of Tobago for the specific reason of participating in the Carnival activities. And she's on set with us this morning. Aloma Stewart is here to tell us about her experience for the Tobago October Carnival. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Right.
It's
so
great to be here.
Of course, and it's a pleasure to have you here on set with us this morning to go through. And I'm looking at your arm, and I don't know if our viewers can see the amount of tags you're wearing.
And I had a lot more, and I cut it off.
Because I'm sure there's more space for them. So tell us, you know, about your experience for the Tobago Carnival. When did it start for you, the activities you participated in, and what was the overall experience like for you?
Okay, it started pretty early, like the weekend before the Carnival. I got in. I attended the Blue Food. I sure attended something on Saturday as well, but I can't remember what it was. I've been to so many parties. But the highlight for that weekend was the Blue Food. And I was so happy that it happened the weekend before the Carnival. Because last year when I was here, I missed it, and I really wanted to experience it this time. And so from that weekend, I was in a party or a fete from the Saturday, the Sunday, the Monday, the Tuesday, Wednesday, everything until last night.
You totally enjoyed the season for Carnival, of course. And of course, I'm certain you took the road.
I did.
Right. And tell us, what was your experience like in terms of registering with the band, collecting your costumes, getting ready for the road, being on the road, participating, you know, interaction with, you know, people, your band members and stuff like that. What was it like for you? And I can see this big, bright smile, and I'm telling myself, this girl had a wonderful time and she's still living in the moment.
I had an awesome time. It was so awesome that the Friday before the Carnival, I attended like two fetes. And I went until 5 a.m. Saturday morning, slept through Juvie. Of all things, I slept And I played with Fog Angels this year, and I purposely did not book or played in a band for Juve because I wanted to do a mud master because I've never done that. But as I said, I slept through it. But I I did Fog Angels on Sunday, so pretty mass. And registering, I did it really late and I did it online. Picking up my costume, there was a hiccup. I was told to pick it up. Well, it was scheduled to pick up on the Thursday. I couldn't get it. The Friday, I couldn't get it. Saturday, didn't get it as well. But on Sunday morning around 8:30, I got the costume. Okay, sorry. It was Friday, Saturday. Not Thursday. Friday, Saturday, I couldn't collect the costume, but I collected it on Sunday. It's like 8:30 that morning on Sunday morning for the road. And so I had to get ready. Well, I don't wear makeup or anything, so that's okay. So I got ready, and the band, it didn't start off until maybe like around 1 p.m. on Sunday. So I got there just in time. Being on the road, I didn't have many friends in the band, but everyone in Fog Angels, they were smiling, they were happy, they were like family on the road. They were, I don't even know anyone, as I said, but the way that we talked and laughed and interacted is like we knew each other a long period of time, from the DJ to the drinks people, the food people, there's people like me, the masqueraders, security, everything. It was wonderful in Fog Angels for me.
Absolutely, and I'm happy that you were able to have that experience, of course, and participate in all those activities. I'm seeing, as we mentioned, you have like about 6 there, 4 or 5 or 6, and you cut some off. So I do know that you had a wonderful, wonderful season here for Carnival. I'm certain you'll be back next year.
Yes, God's willing, I will be back. And what I do, I normally buy my ticket the year before. Like now, when I go back, I'm going to buy my ticket to come back again.
Absolutely, and the dates are already out, so you know exactly how to book your tickets.
Yes.
Which is something I must commend the Tobago Festivals Commission for, and the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation for putting those dates out. I think we have 3 consecutive years already out, so people can book in advance to get here for Carnival. I'm happy that you had that wonderful experience, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next year for Carnival and other festivals that we might have on the island that would pique your interest as well. In closing, is there anything you want to share with our guests, with our viewers?
Man, you all need to come and experience this. It's so awesome. It was crime-free. It was, the weather was perfect. It had rain, but we needed the rain, but it was just wonderful. Everyone needs to come and just experience it.
Well, you heard it this morning, Loma Stewart, saying that you need to come to Tobago to experience our Carnival, not just Carnival. Festivals on the island, we have the same standard as far as I'm aware. The Tobago Festivals Commission mentioned that their priority is ensuring that all of our festivals are the same standard. So whatever you want to participate in Tobago is the place to be. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have to end the program this morning. And we thank you so much for staying with us and for going through the conversations, of course, having your say, leaving your comments on our live stream, whether you viewed us here on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Amplia 102. We thank you so very much. And of course, as we head on into our holiday tomorrow, yes, it's Diwali here in Trinidad and Tobago, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful and safe Diwali celebrations tomorrow. Peace out, and we'll be back again.